So, hi everybody, welcome to this live stream video for Facebook. Glad you could make it. If you're not watching this live, then hello anyway. So, what I want to do tonight is just address again some of the questions that have been posed to me, and one or two of the things that I've been dealing with recently around letting go of toxic relationships. So, what I'd like to do is kind of address one or two issues, or one of the more important issues that I think is very relevant to some of the questions that have been asked, but also is really kind of one of the main principles of being able to handle relationships that are toxic and to be able to move forward in a way that gives you growth and constructive support, really. I guess that's the word. So at the end of this video, I'm going to give you, I'll just give you some details about my free strategy course. So if you've got problems, or you know somebody that's got problems and they want to speak to me to get some advice or even some therapy, then I'll point that in the direction of you at the end of the video. So it's very often the case that when I work with clients or I talk to people, I'm often curious about what they're thinking or what you're thinking, and also about the information that you consume and who you're spending time with. It's very important because these people influence your life in a lot of respects. And if you want to tackle toxic relationships, then you should be aware that there is generally out there in the world and social media and all around you, there's an awful lot. There's far too much negativity and there's not enough positivity. So if you're a really happy person, then you're obligated really to share that positivity, to make people feel good and talk about it and help people, encourage people to be more positive. And that's a really good thing, because the people that give out negativity do that turbocharged, and there's too much negativity out there. So if you're happy, if you're positive, then share it. But let's say you're really miserable and you're unhappy, and you're miserable and you're unhappy a lot. Well, what's the cure? It may be a case that you have to ask yourself what is valuable to you and to let it go. So let me explain to you the principle of that, and I want you to put this into the context of your situation. So we all have relationships with our partner or parents, friends we may have had for many years, and we're in a pathologically locked relationship with these people. And what that means is the relationships are habitual and they're maladaptive and compulsive, and it's difficult not to engage in these relationships for that reason. But let's suppose that the relationship between you and someone close to you is causing you suffering. It's causing you to be unhappy or miserable. Well, what do? Well, maybe you should let it go. Sometimes the reasons that you are suffering is that you just won't let go of the thing that's actually biting you. So someone might say to me, I can't let go of my relationship with my mother, who calls me 3 times a day, 30 minutes at a time, to criticize everything I do, undermine all of my decisions, and tell me that I'm bringing my kids up wrong, what I should be doing instead, and that I'm not good enough to achieve anything worthwhile. Well, I can't let that go. Well, that's not such a good idea at 2 levels. Firstly, it's no good for you because it's destroying you. And secondly, while you facilitate that behavior and you put up with that behavior, you're actually telling that person that their behavior is acceptable and that they should carry on with it. So all you're doing is encouraging them to be bitter and resentful. And they are bitter and resentful. They're so full of bitterness and resentment that they want to offload it onto you so that you end up feeling the same as they do, to make them feel better. Well, that's really helpful. Often, when you let go, things will go away, they'll sort themselves out, and they come back changed. And you don't end up losing some of these things, but you need to let it go to some extent in the first place. But if you're not willing to let it go and sacrifice the relationship, then you'll not be able to make any progress in your life. So, practically, what do I mean by that? Well, take control of the relationship. I am not saying not to ever speak to your mother again or your partner again or your friend again. But what I am saying is be truthful to them and decide the level of contact and communication that you want to have, that suits you, that you feel good about. Take control of that relationship. And if people are getting in the way, impeding your growth and making you unhappy, then you have to sacrifice that relationship so that you can move on. And particularly if you're single, if you have people around you in your life that are making you unhappy and making you feel miserable, then you really need to question if they're the right people to have around, because those people will affect the way that you feel about yourself and create behaviors for you that actually aren't very appealing for a potential partner or a potential mate. Now, it's a really tough rule. It is so tough and it's hard to get your head round. But what are your options? The best relationships that you can have are those that when you have good news to share or when you've achieved something really amazing, that person will be really happy for you, really pleased, and will want to celebrate and party with you and enjoy that moment as much as you. And also, they're the kind of people that if you're going through a difficult time, then they're the ones that come alongside you and they're there for you without pointing out all the tough times that they're going through and all the bad things that they've had to go through. They just see your problems and want to be there for you. Those are true relationships. Those are true partnerships. And that's how good relationships work, both in friends, family, and in your intimate relationships. Now, I'm not saying that you should leave these people behind and move on without them. I'm not saying that. Obviously, that is not practicable. It's not possible in most cases. But what I am saying is look at what is holding you back, what is making you miserable, and confront it honestly. Beat your fear, put your cards on the table, and talk about the things that are making you miserable and unhappy. And negotiate the situation for it to change so it suits you. It's not always an easy conversation and it's not always easy to bring about change in your life. But if you want to be miserable and if you want to be unhappy, then do that. But these things never get better and they never stay the same. They always get worse. So you're going to create something for yourself that will eventually fall into more chaos and more hurt. So it's not easy to make right decisions when it comes to people that are close to you, but sometimes it's necessary. And it's necessary for you, and it's necessary for your life and your relationships and your children and all the things that you want to have in your life that are meaningful. So think about that and make the right decisions for yourself and be honest about it. And if you feel that you are in a situation, you and your partner, where you need some support, where you need some help, then I'd encourage you to go to my Facebook page, click on the banner. That'll take you through to a link with a few questions, and we can have a free chat and a strategy call to just identify some of the issues that you've got and see where we need to go forward with that. So thank you for listening. I hope this is helpful and I hope you'll kind of pick up on a few of the things that I'm talking about. But remember, it's important that you take action for your life, because nobody's going to take action for you unless you take hold of that life for yourself and make something of it. So I'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.